Okay, forensic imaging, right, records a given data set in its entirety. Allows the examiner to see exact replica of the data instead of the original data, or it's the forensic image of it, so it's not the original, so you're not going to mess anything up on the original as part of the evidence, right? And then you can go anywhere from individual files, the folders or entire directories, to volumes and partitions, to the entire drive itself, right? We talked about what level you can actually access the information at. So this allows you to do it pretty much at all levels. And you're shooting for forensically sound images, as always. So you can, if you need to present it as evidence, you're able to do so. There's a physical versus a logical imaging. The logical image is what the operating system knows to exist and what it accesses. And then the physical is the actual, every single byte that's capable of being written on that drive. Very important. It seems like a simple distinction, but if you go and grab one instead of the other when you really meant to get the other, it could be different for you. Well, certainly if you meant to get the bit by bit of the entire drive and you just go get the logical, then you're going to be missing the unallocated space, the slack space, and possibly some of the paging information from RAM. So make sure you know which one you want. There are times where you want just the logical, and that's fine, but just know the difference and make sure you get the pieces you want. So encrypted data, right, has to be decrypted in some way before you access it. Sometimes the operating system has that built in to where once you boot it up and you log on successfully, it starts to decrypt the information there. And some things, although I understand not to be very common, it actually decrypts as it goes. So I don't know how efficient that is or how slow that is. I've not personally seen. Has anybody seen anything that does the encrypting, decrypting kind of on the fly versus all of it at once and then as you shut down? Have you seen?
I think McAfee's drive encryption does it just as far as whatever data is added. It'll encrypt it as it's added to the
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. It used to be full disk when it was version 6. I think version 7 is when it went to
just whatever pieces.
Whatever data is being used.
Oh, okay. Very good. I guess that is good from a forensic standpoint, so you're not messing with it every time you turn it on or every time you.
It was good from a speed standpoint as well, because it would take hours to decrypt to encrypt the entire drive or decrypt it.
Decrypt. So if you users shut it down, that definitely would make a difference for sure. Right. So you can have encrypted volumes in addition to the full disk encryption. If you've ever used TrueCrypt or VeriCrypt, you can make yourself a small, just an encrypted file that you can use and like throw all your personal information on it and encrypt it and decrypt it as you need it. I recommend it. It's VERA Crypt is the name of it, and you can create individual small, whether you make it 1 gig or 500 meg, depending on if you only need documents and such. You can make it smaller and larger, and you can access it as you need it. So it's a very nice way to kind of protect your stuff. And if you make it a nice long password, it's my understanding, having talked to some folks that do the other side of the decryption piece of it, that it's a very solid encryption. It would take a very, very long time to break it. And hopefully, being our personal information, it would be kind of moot at that point. Okay. Temporary decrypted data, if it's not collected during the response, there may be no way to access the information later. So this is one of those times where, yes, volatile data is important, but if you know you're going to lose access to something that is currently decrypted, but for whatever reason, whoever owns it, whoever's using it, said, I'm shutting down and I'm leaving in an hour or whatever it is, go ahead and grab this stuff as best you can if you know you're going to need it. The types of physical devices, right, that can show up. You got your solid state drives, you got your hard drives, and the The SCSI drives are actually pretty much hard drives anyway. They're just able to be attached and connected, daisy chained as it's called, in multiple ways. The hard drives, generally with the serial ATA, has one per strand or one per cable. IDE drives used to, they're not very common anymore, used to be able to put two of them on one cable, ribbon cable. But sometimes you'll deal with SCSI drives that have multiple. I forget what the maximum is. It like in the dozen? I mean, in the teens?
36.
Or is it more than that now?
It was up there.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like 30 something.
Okay, so you could conceivably chain,
Yeah.
daisy chain up to 30 something drives. So that's a consideration when you're dealing with pulling information off of SCSI drives. Removable storage, right? The flash drives, the thumb drives, USB hard drives, and then now, of course, the memory cards that you can put in your cameras, the mini ones that you put in your phone. Those are all removable storage that you may have to deal with and may have to make forensic copies of. So those are the type of things that if you don't deal with them on an everyday basis, right, it's one thing to stick a drive in a USB port and pull it off of a hard drive, but if you're not familiar with how to pull it off of a SD card or some other formatted card, that's the sort of thing that people should be looking into ahead of time and practicing and training on. Many people now have smartphones. Lots of people have tablets, and I'm guessing lots of people have audio players that store information in flash memory as well. So those mobile devices you may be dealing with in a collection. Okay, we're dealing with hard drives and removable media. I kind of alluded to this earlier. That's actually a write blocker. A picture of one from Digital Intelligence there. You want to do forensic imaging, so you pull a complete copy of it off there, and that's the one that you can work on, and that way you don't mess up the original. Right? And you're also pulling what they call slack space and unallocated space. And then we do want to use the write blocker when you're doing that imaging, so you do not accidentally write or add anything to that hard drive. And as I said, you put it in line. Your cables connect from the responder's computer and connect to whatever evidence piece you're trying to get access to, or in this case it should be a drive that you're trying to make a copy of, but it could be other things. And that thing either physically does not allow write commands to go through, or it has a list that it refers to and it says, am I allowed to use this particular command? And if you are trying to use it as a write blocker, you of course would remove any write commands on that list. And that's important. This bottom paragraph here, write blocker should be tested periodically. You don't want to assume it's always functioning properly, and then you end up messing up some of your evidence. So that's another thing that could be checked on a regular basis as part of a checklist of things to maintain when you're talking about your incident response package. So this is where the SSD items that I was looking for actually come up. You have multiple different storage devices that use flash memory, right? Solid state drives, USB flash drives, and mobile phones use flash memory. It's called wear leveling. I think I called it use leveling. But the wear leveling, the flash memory is such that you get a finite number of usages, and therefore the system knows to go and try to use all of them and maintain the wear level as much as possible. So you use up the good ones all the way till the very end, so you get the longest amount of durability in that product. So hash value of the drive can change depending on what you do with it. As Sean mentioned, if you just leave it alone, it is not going to change from when you grabbed it. If you power it up and do anything on it, and then you go and try to make a forensic copy of a file that's on it, and then you take another hash of it. Now that you've turned it on and you've done some other stuff, an operating system may have interacted with it. Now other bits have been not tampered with, but changed. And so your hash will be different. So you have to be cognizant of that as you work with devices that have flash memory.